are going live. Let's get a box so I can boost this, make the angle a little better. Gotta boost some stuff. Gotta do it. Gotta do it. Oh, yeah. Every Tuesday, we go live. We go live with the gangsters and the villains. Ooh. Oh, that's better. That's better. Talking, testing. Talking, testing. Is this light doing anything? Hardly. It's okay. It's okay. I got to use it. Feels like a effing waste to not use it. Okay, headphones on, hat on. Let's share. Let's share. I'm 6 minutes late. Liver than a llama's labia. Hell yeah. Does llama have two L's? Publish. We should be live. We should be live. We should be. Okay. Get situated. Get situated. Cute Castell never misses a beat. Cute Castell is always on the streets. Cute Castell on the motherfucking streets, making people suck her meat, her labia in Arabia. Labia and Arabia. I think those might be all of the rhymes. Nick, what's up, dude? What's up, everybody? Yeah. Let me turn my headphones down a little bit. There we go. That's a little better. Buds, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? We are here. We have uploaded our first video of the year. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Angelique, baby. Kevin, Cherry. It is a mod fest in here. That girl skater in your vid is like one of the best female skaters right now, Ruby. Yeah, she rips bowls, dude. Rips bowls hards. New video was definitely a banger. Heck yeah. Oh, Kevin. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while, man. Early live? Yes. Am I dropping a deck? Probably no plans to actually drop a deck, though that would have been sick. It would have been cool to the handful of people who actually bought one and appreciated it. But it would be tight to get a Brooks Kossover style painting. And I said this, I think, testing. I said this, I think, last. Is this doing anything? Do I have any? Yep. Sorry. I said this last time. I need to steal the Fear and Loathing painting for this studio. I need that, but Brooks should do a board also too. I'm feeling good though. The Groping Hand, the Polish Hammer, Jinxie. What's up, baby? What's up, Jinxie? Mangled Mango, Ready to Tango. Happy Tuesday, everybody. A very happy Tuesday. The new video is up. It is number 1 in terms of the last 10 in terms of performance. So that's nice. A little bit of clickbait in there, but I feel like most people are very happy with the video. There was a good video behind the clickbait, and it was a great way to start the year. We've got a bunch of other shit ready to come out, and I'm psyched. I'm psyched. What else do we have? We've got 2 videos in the can that we're gonna drop. Well, you guys have already seen one of them on here. The second border video. Number 1 is fucking out of control, though, that we're gonna drop next Monday. And then we're going to officially drop the one that you guys already have access to, like next Thursday or Friday. We're filming with Rat Dick Ralph this weekend. We have a video from December still in the can. We have plans galore. We have plans galore. Let me see. Let me quit talking about myself and talk to you fucks. The Polish Hammer standing desk? Yes. I don't remember why I originally got it, but I read that there was an article I saw, and this actually was in my stand-up act. I did a bit about this in my stand-up act. I'm gonna play it right now. That's gonna be hard to select this. Is this a good idea? I'm gonna do it. This will be fun. You're a charity. This is for a little bit of smoking. You smoking. Make some noise. Get loud. It's bad for your heart to sit down or to know how to be healthy. Okay. So this was my bit on because standing desks are apparently really good for your heart. Humans aren't made to be sitting down in a chair for 8 hours a day. But I saw an article entitled Sitting is the New Smoking, which I thought was absurd in its logical leap. And I did a bit about it. Here it is. These days, though, there's a lot of options out there. There's cold plunges, there's meditation, there's sleep routines. I saw an article, sitting is the new smoking. It's bad for your heart to sit down too long. Sitting is the new smoking. I think that's bullshit, though. I think we can just escalate words into entirely new meanings. Sitting is the new smoking. Burger King is the new Auschwitz. The sniffles is the new AIDS. Right here, I fist bump a girl in the front row.
I'll tell you where this anger comes.
What the fuck is this? Here.
Fist bumping is the new fucking. I'd sit down to hide my boner. But sitting is the new smoking. Smoking's not allowed indoors.
Yeah, that's a new bit I was working on. It's nice and physical, you know. You get to fist bump a girl and then point at her and be like, fist bumping's the new fucking. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's standing desk. I like it too. I have 2 windows here that I was going to say you can't see, but this is a laptop. So pretty soon this will be my GH5 camera and that'll be wired in and we'll have Streamlabs and it'll be way better. I guess I'm too wired in to show you guys the view right now. I need a mirror. I need a mirror to be able to show you guys out this window. But that's another reason why I like the standing desk, is so I can see my little view of the Los Angeles Valley, which I do have. It's not bad. Wanked twice already. Duncan, I jerked off this morning too, very early. I got up at 6 for jiu-jitsu. So I feel great. The class was pretty whack. There was 1 purple belt and then a bunch of white belts. Nobody gets up that early to train jiu-jitsu, but I feel great just having gotten up early and done something physical. Danny, the sex criminal Mullen. That's right, Aoli. That shit was nuts. Swag. Nick, thank you so much. New video was awesome. Appreciate you. Cherry Truck, appreciate you. 2 second. The scouring hands are in. I'm in too. We're doing a full hour and a half today before I got to get on out of here. So we're chilling. Damn, Danny, you came to Oceanside and I wasn't there. The Gen AE, I'm sorry. I kind of want to come back, dude. Oceanside might be my spot. A lot of fans in Oceanside. It's interesting. I can go some places and 0 people give a shit who I am. But then there are some places, USC campus was one of those hot spots, and definitely Oceanside, where it seems like every person I meet is not only a fan, they're also like on the Patreon or something, like locked in fans. I like Oceanside. A lot of good Marines down there too. Danny, you suck. Thank you, Grant Baker. I'm going to take the high road. Grant, you're the man. Fight fire with kindness, right, everybody? Mayhem. Daniel, what's up, dude? Any idea when the new Sledgelords episode will come out? I think it's going to drop at Cute Castell. Thank you for asking. 2 p.m. today. 2 p.m. today. I think Adam was trying to pass it off as just a no-jumper interview, but I said right at the start, this is Sledgelords, motherfucker. We gotta stick to the brand. We gotta stick to the Sledgelords fam. Yeah, so it's going to be Sledgelords, and it's going to come out at 2 p.m. At least that's what I was told by their staff. Was cracking, fool. You better fuck RPP's mouth for the vid. Gonzalo, I've said that I'm not going to be the guy to actually fuck Rat Pussy Pam's mouth because, well, if I debut on screen, I want it to be, well, a woman who weighs less than 200 pounds. But what if I just lost control during the festivities and I just unleashed myself and fucked her throat into the abyss? What if I did that? Gonzalo, how psyched would you be? Been doing work in school nonstop, says Kevin. And during winter break, I was out of the country, so I haven't been able to make a live in a while. Well, no problem, dude. We've been. Sorry, I'm going to turn my phone off so nobody can fucking contact me. I've been laying low too, man. I'm the last guy in here who can hate on you for taking a little winter break. Who was for? I'm not going to hate on you for traveling or fucking. I don't know. Where were you out of the country? Not in Tijuana, down in Hong Kong, fucking whores, I hope. We've been fairly active on here, though. We've been doing the Patreon. There's been some stuff going on, but now it's back. We're back in full swing. First YouTube video. It feels good. There's always a fear that you're going to drop that first video and it's going to get like 35,000 views and just nobody's going to watch the content anymore. Hey, Danny, I know this probably isn't possible, but if you guys came to Scotland, the bits you would get to film with junkies would be hilarious. Michael, that sounds fucking amazing. And every guy you walk up to in Scotland with that accent probably makes him like a good B plus level stand-up comedian in America. Like, if you give a guy in Scotland a couple pints and give him a microphone, he's at the very least like Nick Kroll. He is at the very least like Brad Williams funny. Not that those were just like the first two names that came to my mind that weren't like A tier stars. I like both of them. I just watched Nick Kroll special today though. I don't know if I'm going to humiliate myself by trying a Scottish accent, but it's fucking funny, dude. Maybe I should try. I can't really do English. Somehow Australian works for me. If I just keep it nice and gritty like. Yeah. Couple top Sheilas coming my way. Gotta boomerang them in and give them the old jingo jango. But Scottish is, oh, dude, that's fucking. It's like an Irish accent with marbles in your mouth and a concussion. That's how Scottish accents work. Michael, I would fucking love it though. It would probably be just unique content. Not too many people have scoured Scotland. And we'd also have to stop in Ireland to visit some of my maybe ancestors. Maybe I'm sure I could find some other Mullins, but I would need some that were linked to me by blood. Isaiah, the new video title was definitely clickbait. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was intended to be clickbait, but if you really break it down, why I left YouTube, I did like leave YouTube for a month, sort of, arguably, not really, because we were uploading the podcast, but you know, on the main channel. And I did leave YouTube to work on that video, kinda. So, like, I think what we're gonna do, I actually wrote that intro to be. You guys remember, speaking of early 2000s and skateboarding, you guys remember those pants that you could unzip around the knees and convert into shorts? That's how the new intro works in that video that we just posted. It's designed to be cut at a certain point for when I no longer wanted to play on that. Where has Danny been? I'm getting worried about Danny. Oh no, he's left YouTube. Once that audience, anybody who cares about me and my hiatus has clicked and seen the video. Once we've gotten past that period, we're going to switch it into a title and thumbnail that's more representative of the content. We should have done that. We used this tactic, full disclosure, once before when we did the writer's strike video. I give up. The thumbnail was me over at my desk right here. And it got a lot of views right away, but then it tapered off. And now it's gotten not as many views as it deserves, especially because we pretty creatively covered the writer's strike and the issue of AI. That's a great video. That's one of our best videos this year. Last year, excuse me. Oh, sorry, I know. Got to build a new stock of good videos. Sorry, Nick. Didn't mean to scare you, though. IPAC loved the skate video. IPAC, I saw your comment, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. You started this at the perfect time. I think I'm going on break. Good shit, Angelique. Angelique, could you do the chat a favor and just pull your tits out in New York right now? Even though we wouldn't be able to see it, I think everybody would be happy, especially Duncan MacLeod, dude. Is that rat still banned from the oh, excuse me. How many bunguses do you eat a day? Grant, I just am never not eating ass. I eat ass like I eat a square meal. So that's usually 3 a day. No. When's the last ass I ate? I ate an ass in December. I ate an ass in December. It was a homeless man, and I was feeling a little hungry, and it was cold outside, and I panicked, and I started worrying about the winter, so I just, I plunged a Swiss Army knife into his buttocks and removed a pound of flesh, Shylock style, and I ate his ass, very literally. Is that rat still banned from the podcast? Asks Duncan. I wasn't even aware of any of this. You know how it works with Rat Dick Ralph. I left the podcast last week, got home, went to bed early, turned my phone off, didn't turn my phone on until noon or 1 p.m. the next day. And I have all these texts from Rat Dick, like getting mad at me. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then I had to slowly, piece by piece, like an archaeologist with a brush dusting off a dinosaur bone, figure out what the story was. Okay, Rat Dick blew a dab basically in their main roommate's face and then kept talking shit and got banned from the podcast. And now he thinks it's my fault. And this was my executive decision. No, I think he's going to be back next week. We had on this week, though, a really, really good podcast. We had a long neck and wide neck, who I'm going to show you right now. You guys probably know wide neck. He's the African gentleman with a very wide neck. I'm going to pull him up. He's got 8 kids. And at first, he just didn't want to talk at all. He was very, very reticent and like didn't want to be on camera. And then he just positively came alive about 15 minutes into the podcast and decided he liked us and was giving Fez advice on getting pussy, was given long neck advice on how to stand on your business. NBA Mike was there too, Rat Dick's new black friend, and I think Wideneck took comfort in that there was another black man. Like whenever Wideneck would make a point, he'd be like, "A man can't bow down to no bitch, and he gotta stand on his business." You know what I'm saying, cuz? You know what I'm saying? He'd always look over his shoulder at NBA Mike after a particularly important point was made, and the points usually had to do with bitches and standing on your business. Without Rat, there is no Danny. Very philosophical. Bradley, I keep checking the Sledge Lords page, hoping to see a new vid. Well, Bradley, what time is it? It sounds like Bradley is going to skedaddle in about, how many minutes here? 17 minutes? We're going to lose Bradley, dude, because Sledge Lords is going to be live. I like Sledge Lords too, man. A lot of my friends from school, or I don't know why I said friends from school. A lot of my friends from my hometown, and I guess I did go to high school with them and community college. People my age tend to really like Sledge Lords, and sometimes they get alienated by the pure shenanigans of the Leo and Danny show, which sometimes degenerates into just an orgy of depravity. That's too many like 3-syllable words. I didn't like that sentence. Whereas Sledge Lords, there are often some very real conversations being had. So yeah, I know people want a little bit of sledge too. Isaiah, you've always been good with making clickbait titles, images to draw my monkey brain in, but never disappointed. Well, thank you, Isaiah. I don't claim to be an expert. It does suck that I mean, it's not worth complaining about. There's always something worth complaining about or something that you feel the need to complain about when you're doing any kind of job. And I guess as a YouTuber, which I love my life, it's a great job. It's a lot of work, but I love my fucking life and my job. The one thing that does suck is you are subject to the laws of human attention, human nature. Whereas, like, I mean, it's what newspaper people have been doing for centuries. If it bleeds, it leads. You have to declare that the world is ending every single day in the headline of your paper. Otherwise, people aren't going to buy the paper. And our equivalent of that now is we just have to, everything's got to be the most, the worst, the biggest, the smallest. And yeah, sometimes that can feel like, can I just fucking be like, hey, thing, here's a picture of me, and here is the city we went to in the title. Like that, it fucking makes sense. Deal with it, motherfuckers. I will take the lower view count. But the YouTube algorithm is so punitive that if 5% fewer people click on your title because it's a boring thumbnail or title, then it's not just going to be those 5% of people you lose. The YouTube algorithm is going to stop recommending you to more and more subsequent people until the video just dies on the vine. And when you have your business tied up in the performance of your videos, you kind of have to get into the rat race and play the games. And that's definitely the most stressful part of YouTube. The most stressful part of YouTube is opening up your YouTube home studio page and checking in on the performance of a video, not knowing which way it's going to go. Is it going to have performed excellently, or is it going to be a total bomb and our monthly revenue is going to be down because of that bomb? But every industry that anybody works in is going to have similar pros and cons. Like that's just the unique one in YouTube that sucks a little bit. Jinx is sipping on wine. I bet she's sipping on wine. 347, Danny raped me at a third grade basketball game in Wyoming. I did do that. It was when we were in Wyoming shooting, and I wasn't planning on raping 347 Odyssey. I was just at the third grade basketball game, just watching through a pair of binoculars, the point guard. And, 347 walked in, and I was like, you know what? If I go down for a rape, I don't want to embarrass my parents by making it statutory too. So I'm going to take out a grown man. And in the quad, during halftime, I raped him. I fucking raped him. Russell, what's going on, man? What's going on? Video was awesome yesterday, like the throwback Danny clips. I'm psyched on those too. The sponsor me tape part with Mike Sinclair was my favorite part of the video. And my mom, bless her heart, she has these giant cargo trunk sized containers filled with old VHS tapes from my youth. And I'm really excited to go through those other ones too that aren't skateboarding, that are, I don't know, paintball, school plays, shenanigans with my friends in 6th grade. I want to go through those, digitize all of them, and use those as springboards for more content, because I'm a nostalgic guy. I feel like you guys can get down with nostalgia and going back and completing storylines from your youth. I was just talking to our new cameraman, Kelvin, about this. When I was in 6th grade, there was a girl, and she had a friend, and my buddy Tim, him and I, when we were in 6th grade, we'd go hang out with these two girls in the field at lunch, and they were both in 8th grade. Everybody thought we were gigantic pimps. We'd go out there, we'd talk about Blink-182 and skateboarding, and we'd hug each other. Whoa, we'd hug each other when the bell rang and we had to go back to class. And in 6th grade, if you're hugging an 8th grader, that's like fucking her up the ass in the library. Like, that's the amount of bases you've gotten to for a 6th grader. Like, you're a huge fucking pimp. She wrote me a note at one point, though, and said that she wasn't ready for a boyfriend, though she did think I was really cute, and she had to break it off. And I was heartbroken. But in 2009 or 2010, I found her on Facebook, messaged her, got her over to my house when I lived with Uriah Faber on the Fighter Block, and I had sex with her. And while my penis was slipping into the vagina, it was as if my hand were reaching through a portal back in time, and I was high-fiving my 6th grade self. I was avenging my younger self. And I want to do the same thing through video and tapes. Last two videos were bangers. Yeah, I guess the last one was the USC video, so definitely a banger. It's finally starting to come to life. It did not get the views it deserved. Any more plans for East Coast comedy shows? 347 Odyssey, I need to check in with my probation officers to see when I can leave the state. And then I would really like to go back out to Tennessee, because we promised people a Nashville show, and we had to cancel it when I got arrested. So that might be our priority. New York is always a great option too, because we have an incredible venue there, which is where we did the last show. And we know that people turn out and are awesome and are excited. So probably I would say New York or Tennessee. Nashville. The Gen A, slide back to Oceanside, baby. Shoot me a text or something when you're trying to. The Gen A, I don't know. I'm trying to think when I'm going to have a free weekend coming up here. I love it down in that part of the state, though. San Diego, Oceanside, it's beautiful. Shout out Wisconsin. Shout out Stockton. Let's get it poppin'. Leo D on your girl with his cock in. I rewatched that rap from the Stockton video the other day. Thank you, Nick. What a sweetheart Nick is, dude. Russell Magnum's birthday on Sunday, the 28th. Holy shit. What are you getting into, Russell? Tell us. Matt, I'm probably going to refrain from saying happy birthday to your roommate, Nick. I know he's turning 21. I know he's getting hammered legally for the first time, but it just doesn't feel right to say happy birthday to your roommate, Nick. And I'm sure the rest of his family, Mr. Gurr, for instance, and Mrs. Gurr, they might not like to hear that I don't find their son Nick, important enough to wish a happy birthday. But that's just how I feel. And I can't really put my finger on why I'm reluctant to do it, but I'm just not going to wish Nick a happy birthday. Bam. New Sledgelords about to drop, son. IPAC loved the skate video. Hell yeah. Man, if you were a fan of skateboarding, that's a solid video. Fun fact at IPAC, I forgot if I told you this or the chat generally. We were going to go meet up with Jaws in Arizona, who is the highest profile skater that would have been featured in that video had we met up with him. The problem was I'd already filmed for 2 days straight, and we'd filmed one of our border videos earlier that week. And I'd ask myself, how worth it is it to drive 5 hours each way, 5.5 hours each way to Phoenix, Arizona, and then film and then come back and then have to edit that new footage too? I was just like, fuck no, can't do it. Because that's the thing I'm trying to work on this year is we can't constantly be loading our plate with 5 hours of raw footage and a complex monologue and all these bits and really complex edits. Because, yeah, you can make a couple kick-ass videos in a row when you do that, but I become exhausted. And then the video we film after editing that video isn't as funny, and the performance isn't as good, and the jokes and the material isn't as original. So you have to sprint and then jog, sprint and then jog. It's like jujitsu. Yes, if there's an opportunity to explosively pass the guard, you need to take advantage of that. But once you're in side control or you're settled into mount, settle, breathe through your nose, regroup, and start planning the next attack. Then get one hand in, then go palm down, and then hit that fucking mount choke, and then hit that fucking mount choke. That's how our strategy is going to be making content. Bam! Danny Mullen regime getting pampered this week. I know. You guys get the border video early. I know there's some weird audio issues. It's sort of a rough draft, but it's basically the video. You guys got the skate video. We dropped a couple of vlogs last week. The Leo and Danny show is going to be dope. Sledgelords is going to be dope. It's all good times. Have you considered trying out new content creator trends like desktop streaming, Twitter Spaces, or IRL? The Polish Hammer, is desktop streaming anything more complex than just streaming from my desktop? I am going to experiment with doing a live stream maybe every other week for the main YouTube channel. And if you guys wouldn't mind, I'll probably announce it on Patreon beforehand, and you guys can go be moderators of that too. I'll probably have to post the live or post a live in an unlisted link, moderator all of you guys, and then fucking we'll go do battle with the plebs. But to answer the rest of your questions, Twitter Spaces or IRL? IRL, I'm not too interested in. One thing with IRL that would worry me a little bit is I feel like people would roll up on us and fuck with us. And maybe that's me being paranoid. Honestly, it probably wouldn't happen too much. But also, um, I don't know. I feel like your focus can only really be in one place. And I personally would rather consume curated, edited, polished content like we tend to make. I am not so interested in somebody just walking around and talking shit to cashiers, though I've been guilty of such acts many times in my career. So I'm probably going to stick to the YouTube content for now. Twitter Spaces, not so sure. We're going to start uploading on X, but really our strategy for this year is just to continue optimizing our performance on YouTube. It's not to branch out to any entirely different platforms. And then I'm just going to keep doing stand up, but really doing stand up is a means to become better at performing in videos, not really trying to launch a stand up career and disown my YouTube career. That's not the aim at all. I'd rather make YouTube videos. If I could be a massively successful YouTuber or a massively successful stand-up comedian, I would rather be the massively successful YouTuber. I would rather do what I do in the videos versus regurgitate jokes on stage every night. Yo, Danny, what's your opinion on the RDR studio ban? Was the dab really ban worthy? I wasn't there, Russell, so I don't know how ban worthy the dab really was. I saw the video Ratic posted, and it looked like all of the roommates there were really, really pissed off, which it's not like they're high strung. So he must have been being like kind of an asshole for some time before he blew the final offending dab. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, Ratic is not known for his polish. He's not known for his manners. He's known for being a full-time psychonaut. He's the guy who got the head tattoo in the Starbucks. He's the guy who snorted the dick pill off the liquor store counter. And sometimes he's not going to be able to turn it off in situations where he needs to turn it off. It's our show, though, and it's Austin's job, too. So I cannot see this ban lasting. I don't even think he was banned this week. He was just up in Big Sur for his birthday. So he'll probably be back next week. Bradley is saying, don't drink before the shoot because if I'm drunk, I might put my penis inside RPP. That's true. What do you think it is? How many shots of liquor mentally erode, say, like 30 pounds? Does one shot, I think one shot of liquor might be good for getting rid of like 8.5 pounds of body weight. But then you reach a critical mass where after 10 shots, weight becomes totally irrelevant. Like you're looking at a size 0 Victoria's Secret model after 10 shots. Isn't it weird? Alcohol, how it just makes you want to fuck stuff. I wouldn't mind the Danny Mullen version of Epically Latered. I love Epically Latered. Epically Latered it's a strange name, isn't it, IPAC, when you say it out loud? It is a skate documentary series that if you guys enjoyed the video I did this week, you'll probably love. Some are better than others. The Ali Boulala one's incredibly dramatic. And then some are short, the Dustin Dolan drinking one. But great series. The skateboarding world is so fascinating. It's sort of similar to our little YouTube universe because a lot of the characters in pro skating are sort of adjacent to Rat Dick Ralph and Inland Iggy. They have these weird foibles. They get addicted to drugs. They have shitty tattoos. They have weird fucking slang and nicknames. It's not too different from a Danny Mullen video when you watch an Epically Latered. Danny, have you ever seen Eyes Wide Shut? I have not, Nick. What's kind of douchey, though, is I've oftentimes referenced Eyes Wide Shut type situations. You shouldn't be allowed to reference a film to describe a situation if you haven't seen the fucking film. So I've been guilty of that douchery. But I do know that people have orgies. The elites have orgies in Eyes Wide Shut, which does sound pretty fun. There are just so many movies I haven't seen that I probably should see. But the list is so long now, it's like, I don't even fucking know where to begin. It'd be like if you told a Chinaman to polish the Great Wall with a Q-tip. He'd probably just stab himself in the eye with a Q-tip until he died because it's such an impossible task. That's where I am with American cinema. I have so many movies to watch before I've completed the canon. Honestly, if you can understand him, watch Kevin Bridges. He's fucking hilarious. Tell me more, Michael. What does he do? Stanley Kubrick is an amazing director. Trying to think of the main Stanley Kubrick. Full Metal Jacket? Stanley Kubrick. He left us in 1999. Let me see what films he did. Clockwork Orange. I read the book. I think I've seen part of the movie. Let me see his filmography. There's one that I'm missing here. Full Metal Jacket's fucking badass. Eyes Wide Shut. Okay, there we go. All right, I do need to watch that. Lolita. A lot of movies with rape and suicide and orgies and shit. I like this guy. There was a documentary on the guy who directed Apocalypse Now. What's his name? Or the guy who wrote Apocalypse Now? Francis Coppola. It's written and directed by Francis Ford Coppola. There was a documentary on Francis Ford Coppola, and the old cowboy dude in the series The Ranch gets interviewed, and he's like, Francis wrote films for men. And I think Stanley Kubrick writes films for men too, and I respect that. I respect that somebody could come out and say that, though, like, he writes films for men. Hell yeah. Danny, is that supposed to be a U-neck or a V-neck or something? I don't know. All I know is that your mom takes her panties off real quick whenever I show up in this garment. That's all I know, 347. Don't make me rape you in another third grade basketball game. 347, I bought this shirt in 2016 when I shopped at Urban Outfitters and I was trying to be like cute so I could get laid in bars because I had to play in that game. I had to resort to those tactics when I was a busboy. When you're a busboy, you have to really optimize everything in your life outside of your career because your career is going to be the millstone that drags you down to the bottom of the ocean. So I couldn't walk around with this shitty stubble. I couldn't throw a fucking hat on and some jizz stained sweatpants and walk out the door. I had to spend money on getting like a cute fucking surfer boy haircut. I wore a dog tag necklace, which many people ripped on me for, rightfully so. I had bracelets. I might have even wore some rings. You saw the last gasps of that version of Danny in 2018, 2019 videos where I'd kind of get cute for videos. But now that I'm not swabbing tables for my pay, I don't have to go to Urban Outfitters and try to be like a fucking hip fucking TikToker anymore. I don't have to do that. Is that the new Yeezus shirt, Danny? I don't. It's not that. This is not a new shirt, so I don't know what the Yeezus shirt is, but it's not. Ooh, Angelique's got her tits out. I'm fucking hard, hard. Put it, Danny. I can help with a Scottish accent. Oh hell yeah, baby! You can help me with a lot of things, Jinx. You can help me make my balls lighter, my dick wetter. Those are the main things you can help me with. That was crude. That was crude and not particularly witty at all. Put it on productions. You are the king. Sorry, Jinx. That was really rude to say to somebody like Jinx, who's a longtime supporter. You are the king of YouTube comedy, trolling, doing what is socially unacceptable for the sake of comedy. I think fucking RPP would be a great act of undeniable proof. It'd be something, dude. Put it on productions. It would be pretty fucking amazing. I just like, I don't know if I could look my parents in the eye after I had sex with Rat Pussy Pam on camera. That would be pretty tough. Because I'm almost certain my mom, curiosity would get the best of her and she would fork over her credit card, get the OnlyFans video. And then she would have to just, whenever she made eye contact with me when I came home, she would see sort of like when you leave a TV on too long and there's an imprint of the image on the screen, even when the TV's turned off. She would see this 300-pound Latina beanbag chair beneath me, even if I were, just on the couch watching football in Orangevale. There would always be the specter of the 300-pound beanbag chair, and I can't do that to my mother. Wes Anderson, Stanley Kubrick, number 3. Again, we're out of my depth here. Quentin Tarantino is my cool director. I like Quentin Tarantino. One of my favorite authors is Bret Easton Ellis, and he's buddies with Quentin Tarantino. So I listen to them on podcasts together. Quentin Tarantino's a big comedy fan too. So I like Quentin Tarantino. I don't like his movies, but everybody likes his movies. Zacadelic, is he? Yes, he's here. Bam! Hell yeah. Zacadelic and his father loved the video. Fucking psyched to hear it, Zachy. Appreciate you, man. I was just telling the chat that we plan on going out and doing another comedy show in Nashville, Tennessee. Nate F. loved the new video. Skating is eternal. You never actually stated why you left YouTube, though. Yeah, well, Nate, that was because, I don't know, there wasn't really, as we established, it was fucking clickbait, okay? I lied to the audience. I betrayed those who believed in me for short-term views. That's what I did, all right? CoffeeZilla, do the video. Start digging into me. Let's do it. I'm the next Logan Paul. I fucking betrayed everybody who liked my content. Nate, I think I've probably said it on here that the reason we hadn't been posting in a while was mostly trying to find the sweet spot on these headphones. It was mostly just because we were trying to rework some things in terms of the business side, content creation, get our production pipeline more dialed in. And plus, yeah, I just needed some perspective. A great writer, I forget who, once said that he would write his first draft of a story, put it in a drawer, and then not look at it again for a year. Because once you have a year's distance from something, a lot of blind spots, that a lot of things that you were blind to when you wrote the first draft, they become immediately obvious. That is pretentious. That is a shitty transition right there. That sentence is way too long. You can see those things quickly once you have some distance. So we just backed off and just kind of reevaluated our strategy a little bit. But the whole time I've been writing and performing, so it's not like I seriously considered leaving it all. So glad your tits are out in the outside the Starbucks, Angelique. That's really great. In Los Angeles, you could absolutely just take your tits out outside of a Starbucks and there would be this many consequences. That was a 0 for the listening audience. Nobody would care. And I am newly grateful for criminal justice reform because it means we can do more fucked up stuff in Los Angeles and not get in trouble. Russell, he's appreciative of your tits coming out, Angelique, so thank you. The Polish Hammer, how's stand-up going? Do you have 10 minutes of material or more? Would be cool to see you release a 20 to 30-minute YouTube special this year. Oh, thank you, the Polish Hammer. Yeah, that's something. How much material do I have that I'm like super psyched on? Probably a solid 12, but I could easily do 20 plus minutes. I don't know. I went back and I rewatched some of my early stand-up that I've posted for you guys on Patreon. And I'd moved away from a lot of that material thinking it was juvenile and not that great. And I was pleasantly surprised when I rewatched it. So I've taken an approach now to just don't overthink it, stand up. Just use the tools I use in my videos. Don't get pressured. It's easy to get pressured into the conformity of the comedy scene and try to do what everybody else is doing. But I'm rejecting that now and just using the tools again that I've developed in our videos, which is a lot of physicality, emotion, improvisation. So I could comfortably stretch it to 20 or 30 minutes. Would it be 20 or 30 minutes that translated really well onto video? I'm not so sure. It's weird how with stand-up, somebody can kill in a club, but then you watch their Netflix special and you're like, this guy's not funny. I don't like this at all. That's happened to me a couple times. And it was actually in the opposite order. I would watch a Netflix special and be like, at best, this is very middling. But then I would see them for some reason in like the middle of a lineup at a club and they would fucking annihilate. And everybody, including me, would be dying laughing. So it's a different energy. And I feel like you need to be a lot more polished when you put it on YouTube or when you capture it on tape. Certainly don't think I'm ready for that. Um, or maybe I am. I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of clips that I've posted that I've tried out. A couple of clips I've released as shorts, and then when I saw the response was good, just privated them. There's probably at least 10 minutes of that. I could do a 10-minute special. I could confidently do a 10-minute special. Russell, that ass eating bit on the new border video is hilarious. Russell, I think I know the one you're talking about. I was pretty sure I was going to cut that, but now that you think it's funny, I guess I got to leave it. Is it a financial burden renting a 2-bedroom apartment? Asks Nate. In LA, getting heavier and heavier after a lizard girl left. Yeah, it's pretty tough, man. Well, yeah, this place is $3,000, and I don't really need a 2-bedroom. So ideally, Nate, the construction company could wall off the office and take this bedroom I'm in right now and put it elsewhere. And then I would just put all my stuff in here in the living room, and I would pay 2,200 in rent instead of 3,000. That would be nice, but you also have to ask yourself questions. If I relocated to a 1-bedroom apartment and saved $800 a month, what would that cost me in terms of short-term sanity? Because it would cost a lot. I would have to fight to get my deposit back. I'd have to pay a new deposit. I would have to, the worst part, fucking move everything, meet new neighbors, apply for new places. I would rather just use that energy trying to make an additional $800 a month. That's a better strategy. I met a guy in Vegas once, and he was on a lot of cocaine, and he probably has some skeletons in his closet, to quote Danny Mullen from the Orangevale video. But he also had a very successful business. He was like a shady Eastern European businessman. And I asked him, like, hey, man, this was in 2022. I was like, I just gave my guys raises, and I'm a little stressed out, man. I just like, I don't know about making the nut. I want to make sure I'm, profitable. And he's like, bro, kind of in the Leo the Tavio Armenian voice. He was like, bro, don't worry about cutting expenses. It's always much easier to make more money. And he was right. It's easier to make additional income than to devote tons of energy to cutting costs. So, and also it's a more healthy way, it's a more healthy direction to think in. Later, Zachy. It's for you, baby. I'm going to bring you your girl with a big ass from Memphis when I come back to Tennessee. I was just watching the Stacking Bodies in Barbara pod when I saw your live. Is that the one we did with Couch and Disco Lines? I don't know what the Stacking Bodies in Barbara pod is. I don't know why I thought it would be the one with Couch and Disco Lines. Yes, Russell, we did have Wide Neck on the podcast this week. R.I.P. Hearthcock for sure, dude. R.I.P. Hearthcock. R.I.P. Hearthcock, baby. The Gen AE, NBA Mike, that's who the Gen AE is bringing up, NBA Mike and him being Raddick's friend. It really is an incongruent friendship. One guy is 6'10". The other guy's 5 foot. Raddick might be 6 feet. One guy's dick is allegedly like 9 inches long. The other guy's is 9 centimeters. It's a weird friendship. One is visibly addicted to all kinds of drugs. One seems totally sober. But yeah, NBA Mike just stopped by the podcast yesterday and hung out. It's definitely nice. I told him this on the Patreon pod that we did yesterday. Him, me, and Sweet Johnny broke down which races we think are the easiest to have sex with in terms of women. And I told NBA Mike, I was like, I feel like we can be a lot more open with this conversation when we have a small Latino man and a black man on the couch. I feel like we can really let it rip when it isn't just like me and fucking Bachelorette Leo on the couch. Like, nah, bro. The thing with black girls is they're fucking whores. That's a strange look when there are no people of color around. But we can just let it rip when we got NBA Mike. Dude, I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's a little sad. Sweet Johnny's off the wagon, dude. Sweet Johnny definitely came in with like a bottle of MGD, and it was off his fucking rocker. And it might not have just been alcohol. Advice for how to let emotional shit go. I have a hard time letting go of stuff. trying to think of some helpful advice here. I know how that goes, though. Sort of like the parable of the prodigal son that I was talking about Nick Merlino with. How oftentimes and I'm sure you saw the video, Nate F. You guys know the story. The guy takes his inheritance and goes and parties and gambles and he fucks. And then he's ashamed of what he did, but he comes home and his father still loves him and welcomes him back. That story is about forgiving yourself for being imperfect and for being a dick to your first girlfriend and blowing it, for being a really repellent character at some points in your life, being a lazy, good for nothing sack of shit. That's what that parable is about. And even if you don't believe there are any divine implications to that parable, it is a piece of wisdom that has captivated humanity and been held up as great for 2,000 years. So you can put some trust in that way of thinking. Another thing that's important is meditating. Meditating is just the art of detaching with the outside world and letting the negative thoughts and emotions wash over you like tidal waves on the ocean surface during a storm, but you're down in a submarine, safe and sound, 100 feet below the surface. That's what meditation is. It puts you in the submarine and not a submersible going down to the Titanic, just a nice and safe one in U.S. waters, again, about 100 feet under the surface during a storm. And meditation will teach you that negative thoughts are a product of the monkey brain, I've heard it referred to as. And the monkey brain is just, whoo, ah, ah, whoo, whoo, whoo. You're a piece of shit. You're a loser. You fucked up this. You got to do this. You're going to fail at that. And you just let those thoughts wash over you until they get quieter and quieter. Your dick is small. You're fat. You're lazy. You're poor. You're gay. Fuck you. And then you'll just be sitting there, nice and calm. And the more you do it, I've been pretty disciplined about meditating 5 or 6 days a week now. It stays with you even after, because obviously when you stop meditating, thoughts are going to keep coming back. But your brain, much like your bicep after doing curls, it eventually calluses against the monkey brain. And you build the muscle for rejecting those negative thoughts. And that'll make letting go of emotional shit more easy, Nate. Russell is saying that I should reassure Zach that he has a hot Asian girlfriend. Zachadelic, you do have a hot fucking Asian girlfriend, buddy. You got that going for you. And he's got a pretty sweet dick, Zachadelic. It's pretty big. It feels girthy when it's up your ass. The groping hand. Women are truly just toys made for... Women are truly just toys made for men. Like, oops, play a little bit too rough. Accidentally decapitated the doll's head. Got to toss her out in the trash and go back down to the store to buy a new one. I fucking love the groping hand. We got to have the groping hand on the podcast. The groping hand, you needed to come in dressed as the Grim Reaper with wide receiver gloves on when you come on the podcast, just ready to grip and stick to asses and titties. Just fucking ready with the hands or some athletic tape. I need calluses, dude. I got to see some calluses. I want to see the groping hand grope Angelique. David, fuck yeah, man. Welcome to the live stream. We're going to have for you guys a ton of extra footage from the skate video as well. A lot of stuff that just didn't fit in with the sort of speedy narrative we were trying to weave. Should be at least 40 or so minutes. Danny, if you could have anyone eat your ass, who would it be? I probably would pick Charlie Chaplin and Hitler. I think that mustache is the right amount of tickle. Wow. You do pose an interesting thought experiment here, because if you just asked Mexican Rocks, Danny, who would you most want to get your ass eaten by? I feel like most of the guys in here, my head would be scrolling through the Rolodex of like, all right, who's the hottest it chick right now? But I like your strategy of going for somebody funny, because really, if you need to get your ass eaten that bad, just hire I mean, if you don't want to talk a civilian into it, you can just go hire a hooker. But if you get your ass eaten by Hitler, yeah, it won't be erotic or anything, but you'll always have that story that Hitler ate your ass. So for me, I'm going to go Isaac Newton because he died a virgin. I want to be Isaac Newton's one surrender. I want to be his one dance with lust. Okay? So I'm going to go Isaac Newton. And I want it to happen in his laboratory, in his study. I want there to be a telescope looking out the window and like a big tome of theories cracked open with a fucking bookmark, a velvet bookmark, and a quill, and a fucking quill at attention in a quill holder, ready to write the next line of precedent establishing science. And then I want his tongue to go up my asshole. Thank you, Jinxie. She can't wait to see the new old footage that my mom's going to digitize. Do a Canadian comedy show, you bastard. Duncan, still no plans to go to Canada, though I'd like to do that, though I would. I second the New York decision. I would pop out. Thank you, David. He wants us to do a New York show. Isaiah says, your last video made me feel so young. Most of your nostalgia, I wasn't even born yet. You were 12 years old skating, and I was in the womb listening to the Twin Towers burning. Your last video made me feel so young. 2002? It is pretty crazy sometimes when I look back on those days. What do I have to say on the subject of nostalgia? I was home, not home. I was at my aunt's house for Thanksgiving in 2015, and I was 25. And there was a picture on the wall in there of my mom holding me when I was a newborn baby with my sister. And my mom was super young. And I remember I just burst into tears because my thought process was, holy fuck, life goes by so quick. I was a little baby and now I'm a full grown adult. And there was also the added melancholy at that time of being a busboy and being broke and feeling like I hadn't accomplished anything. But now that was almost 10 years ago. Yeah, it is weird how fast my life has gone by. And you only have your own life to measure against. I mean, obviously, relative to my own life, I'm the oldest I've ever been. I realize that 34 is not old in a relative scheme of things. That was a lot of that was just for performance and drama, saying, I'm 34, I'm too old for YouTube. But yeah, especially when I meet guys who come to our comedy shows who basically have the same interests and sensibility as I do, but they're 10 years younger, it can feel a little strange sometimes to know that I was skateboarding around while they were listening to a plane strike a building from the womb. I honestly hate living in Scotland, says Michael, and I really want to move to the US and basically start fresh. I'm just not sure about employment and if the country is all what it's made out to be. Yeah, I mean, Ireland, everybody fucking leaves Ireland, right? Ireland, I think, is the most emigrated from country, or certainly one of them historically. I mean, like the Irish are fucking everywhere, dude. They're pests, and I'm one of them. I would know. You hate living in Scotland. What do you hate about it, Michael? I'm actually very interested. I know the weather probably sucks. I imagine there's a very slow pace of life. I'm not sure about employment. Michael, it seems like you can form strong English sentences. And if you can do that, I think you could probably pretty easily find employment in the United States. Employment is like basically everything in this life. If you have the wherewithal to be good and to work hard and to get ahead, you will be able to find an opportunity. Certainly in America. I mean, if you're going to be able to find gainful employment anywhere, it's in America. So yeah, I'd recommend coming here, Michael. I'm not sure how easy it is. Is the country what it's made out to be? Hmm. I haven't traveled enough maybe to know. I like it, but I like a pretty fast pace of life and I'm very ambitious. If I liked a slower pace of life, I could probably live in a place like Italy or in Scotland where it seems like you can just be a dude who has a shoe shop and you close up at 4:15 every afternoon and go down to the pub and that's life. And you marry a fat girl named What's a good Irish name? I don't know. Let me see. I'm gonna look up Irish names. Irish female names. Oh, wow, I can't even pronounce these. These are like elvish spells. Nora, Quinn, Bridget, Orla, Aofi, Aisling, Caitlin, Neem, Shannon, Shuba, Riley, Gr dude, these are fucking Maeve? I don't know. Take your fucking pick. But yeah, it sounds like you need to be in America, dude. I need to come back to the chat too. That's what I need to do right now. I'm sorry, guys. I'm fucking up. That was a hey. That was a very unneeded tangent. Where's my spot? I couldn't even find my. Yeah, America's sick, dude. I just don't know anything about Scotland. And I should have said that and moved on instead of getting lost in Irish female names. Third person, Russell, I love it. IPAC is giving Russell some props. Jaws is a YouTube now, pretty sure. Damn. Yeah, I'll do something with Jaws. Can we get Leo on the live sometime? Ryan, he doesn't live here. Maybe. I mean, probably no. It would just be tough for me to be like, hey, dude, stand next to me and talk into the microphone for my Patreon. Plus, it would smell like shit. Have you been around that guy? That uncircumcised fucking Italian sausage reeks. It was a great decision joining this Patreon. Thank you, Danny. Well, thank you, Anthony. Fucking cheers to you. Patreon gave me a water bottle, but it didn't have any branding. So I was like, what's the point? I want to be able to toast and let people see the branding. I do have a Patreon sweatshirt, though. Fucking thanks to you, though, Anthony. That's the point. Welcome to Patreon. Woo! Yeah, we'll start posting to Rumble, too. RDR's apartment roaches need to have a serious talk with him. Anthony, we're going to revisit those roaches this fucking week, dude. So get ready. Yeah, Isaiah is right. There's endless jobs here. He's got a fucking point. Sorry, guys. Trying to find my spot. Gonzalo said, this looks like a really nice message. You should redo RDR's head tattoo, but this time with an ice pick instead of a needle. I've fucked some crazy shit, dude, alcohol. I want to hear about that, Anthony. Got to get back to work. All right, baby. Later, Angelique. What a bitch, right? No, I kid. It certainly looks better, Isaiah. We get like 3 weeks of good weather here, and then it goes back to gloom. That is fucked up. 3 weeks in an entire year? Wow. Wow. Yeah, I imagine Ireland would be a nice place to, you go see a castle, you have a fucking beer with a four-leaf clover in it, you hear a guy play a harp, and then you go home. I imagine that's how I would treat Ireland and by extension Scotland. I mean, what's the fucking difference? You guys wear dresses and play bagpipes. That's basically the only diff. Clockwork Orange. I love you have access to all 4 seasons here in Arizona. Is that a joke? Because I feel like you don't really. I feel like you don't. I in LA, we had some rain this weekend, but one of the great things about it is I was on my balcony getting sun earlier today. I was watching The Office while getting a nice little suntan. He's a Scottish stand-up. Is he the famous stand-up Scottish comedian? Famous stand-up Scottish comedian. There are a couple. Craig Ferguson's dope. Who's the guy who was in Muppet Treasure Island? That's the guy I'm thinking of. You would think he would come up a little sooner. Is it Bill Connolly? I feel like Bill Connolly is the guy. Bill Connolly is in Muppet Treasure Island. He's dope. And he's one of those guys who's just funny because he's Scottish. Nick is asking if I saw the trailer for Kanye's new album. How long is it? I'll watch it right now. I feel like that'd be a good thing for me to react to. I'm not not see a trailer. I'm not sure. I like Kanye West though. I like any disruptor. Sean Strickland, speaking of disruptors, holy fuck, that guy's been going for it. I like it. I like anybody who throws a wrench into the gears of corporate fucking conformity. I like that, and he's definitely doing that. Nate is asking, what muscles are best to train for BJJ? I find my triceps being sore after rolling more than any other muscle group. But that's probably because I'm a white belt and trying to push people off me. Also, any techniques you wish you knew as a beginner white belt that help when you're rolling with more experienced belts? Muscle group, for me, I say that my thighs are really important, and then my forearms are really important, my grips. Your thighs are important because when you approach somebody's closed guard, you're doing it in a squat, in a combat stance, they call it. So you got to be doing at least body weight squats. I go on a gnarly ass hike up a vertical stair set and then do body weight stuff once I get to the top. That's what I do on my off days in order to make sure that my legs are good to go. And I also do pull ups when I get to the top too to make sure that my grips are strong. Yeah, for me, I think it's primarily grips in legs. Also, you should make sure your neck is stretched out and strong too, because that's a common injury you can get in jujitsu. If your neck is weak, you can hurt your neck, and that can be a potentially really dangerous injury. So I do neck exercises every morning. What techniques do I wish I knew when I was a beginner? What your instructor is teaching you is probably fine. You develop your jujitsu as you go along. And there's no secret. When you're a beginning guy, you're going to need to learn how to mount escape. You're going to need to learn how to fend off chokes, how to escape side control, because that's where you're going to be most of the time when you're a beginner. You're going to be getting your fucking ass kicked by big, sweaty men. So I'd say that. I would say work your closed guard, realize the importance of the closed guard. I was just telling a guy that this morning, the 6 a.m. class. He opened his closed guard, this like new guy, and I was like, "Why would you ever open your closed guard on me? You had me completely at your mercy, and I was subject to all of your attacks, and I had no offense of my own, and you let me go free." So definitely work your closed guard. I'd say that's the answer. And Jinx, you know I just want to fuck your titties, baby. I'm not talking trash. Cole is asking, Elliott Smith video this year? That would be such a box office bomb, Cole, that everything has to be right. We have to really, because right now, our ad revenue from January is basically zero. So we have to restart the machine right now. Right now, our channel it's like your uncle going out into his dead father's backyard, finding an Oldsmobile that has no tires and a rodent infestation and trying to restart that car. That's what we have to do as far as our algorithm treatment, our income. So we have to stabilize, and then we can think about an Elliott Smith video, because that video would most likely not do too well in terms of performance, but also we'd get no ad revenue because we would have to use copyrighted music. Nate F says Tarantino is better than Scorsese, and it's not even close. I feel like people just pretend to worship Scorsese because it's a cool thing to do. His movies are boring and pretentious. Let's not pretend. Yeah, I do think that something has to be said for Quentin Tarantino's movies being so immediately enjoyable to everybody. Little kids, working class people, everybody can enjoy Django Unchained or can enjoy Kill Bill, but there's also, it's sort of like our videos. Everybody can enjoy our videos, but there's also a layer there if you are one of the brighter viewers who you're maybe a little politically curious, or you yourself are relatively educated and you appreciate stuff beyond like, yo, man, that's lit. Oh, are you gonna riz up them girls over there? Oh man, my boy got the riz. Oh, which is like a lot of YouTube. But guys who like that content can still like our channel, but fine, educated people like all of you guys clearly are, you get it too. That's what Tarantino pulls off. Scorsese, I really like Taxi Driver. I think Taxi Driver's sweet. Raging Bull, it's been a while since I've watched it. I love Wolf of Wall Street, though. I mean, you gotta fucking, there's nothing pretentious about Wolf of Wall Street, dude. Wolf of Wall Street is pure fucking bro carnage. I've told the story before, but I was down in Cabo for spring break one year, right after The Wolf of Wall Street had come out, and all of the meatheads in the bar at the resort, in unison, the one thing that brought them together, they were all competing for the same, like, 3 barely conscious girls. They were all in rival fraternities. The one thing that brought them together is when one dude took a big shot of fucking tequila, chased it with his lime, and then turned around and went, um, um, and then everybody started doing it in the bar. Because that movie speaks to the fucking lowliest, but it also, it's got interesting themes too, if you're a little more educated. Like the themes, my boy Bret Easton Ellis and Quentin Tarantino told me, the theme is America's reluctance to punish the rich, which you saw in 2008 when all of these banks get fucking bailed out after gambling with fucking customers' funds. The Wolf of Wall Street, he's ripping people off. He's a complete fucking swindler. He's cheating on his wife. He's doing fucking coke. And what happens? A slap on the wrist. He goes to a resort prison for a couple of years, and then he's teaching seminars on how to sell a pen right after. While the prosecuting FBI agent, there's a really meaningful scene at the end when the Lemonhead song, Mrs. Robinson, is playing. The guy's in the subway, just like Jordan Belfort would tell him, riding the subway home to his fat wife, making $50,000 a year. And the FBI agent is on the subway, and he looks up at the camera, and you can tell he just realized, like, fuck, my life sucks. Even though I just did this deed of bringing down this massive criminal, I'm still amongst the poor that this country does not reward. And he is still amongst the rich who this country does. Django Unchained is fucking dope, Nate F. I really like The Hateful Eight. I need to rewatch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I've tried to watch it twice, and I used to always get crippling anxiety when I watched it because I don't know. I watched it in those years where the YouTube channel was just kind of starting up, and it was very life or death in my head, and I was very stressed all the time. And it was weird because that movie takes place in all of these same places that I film videos. And it deals with the theme of becoming irrelevant, and nobody wants to put the DiCaprio character in films anymore. I was like, what if people don't want to watch my YouTube videos? And I'd start panicking about that. I think I'm at a point now, though, where I'm mentally healthy enough that I can watch that movie without any kind of anxiety and really enjoy it. You should do RPP on your childhood bed. Yes, yes. I should bring her home and introduce her as the new GF. Anthony, it's so funny that most people didn't get that title was clickbait off the bat. Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah, I guess. Maybe. That's wise of you, though. But I mean, there were some people could take the. I delivered them pretty convincingly. They're like, I'm 34. This is a young man's game, and I've had those thoughts before, but I swat them away. That I don't let them take root or anything because I don't believe they're true. But yeah, it seemed like a lot of people thought I was sort of actually considering it, which I really wasn't. Nate F, if you were able to get famous people in your videos, that would help a lot with views. I'm sure you could get them on board with whatever degenerate video you have planned. Yeah, the dream would be Edward Forty Hands with Elon Musk. Oh boy, that would be amazing. Just getting shit-faced drunk with Elon Musk on the street. He needs to be a fan. He'd be a fan, dude. He'd be a huge fucking fan. Hell yeah, Nick. Glad you're happy about that channel. Any collabs you're doing with other channels this year? Cute, nothing planned. Danny Duncan and I were trying to do something, but no plans for that officially yet. Adam22, we've been podcasting a little bit, so we might shoot something for the main channel together, but not really anything else on the agenda. Gonna collab with Brooks Kossover and survival expert Chad soon. Damn, Danny hit us with some good advice with that Vegas guy story. Yeah, that's good advice, Anthony. That it's easier to make more money versus just stress yourself fucking out about cutting costs. And that's not to say you should just blow out money and spend like a degenerate, but making more money is always an option too. Nate F is trying to do some business with Angelique. Gonzalo is saying, "Be real, dog. What was your favorite special of 2023?" Mine was Shane Gillis's Netflix special. Good question, Gonzalo. You know what I really, really liked was the Nick Mullen special. We listened to it our last shoot of the year driving back home from Fresno. I listened to it with editor Ian, and I was like, dude, honestly, I kind of like that more than Shane Gillis's Netflix special, which I really like Shane Gillis's Netflix special too. But Nick Mullen stand up, it's very adjacent to our videos. Everything has sort of a current news premise behind it. He's got kind of like the anarchic politics that our channel has. Really, really clever writing. I loved it. I'm trying to think what else. It's hard for me to differentiate between specials I watched in 2023 and specials that were filmed in 2023. Tim Dillon's was probably in 2022. I really like Tim Dillon's Netflix special. I'm going to have to go with Nick Mullins. Ryan P. Ravens or Chiefs? Sorry, I lost my spot. Ravens or Chiefs, Lions or Niners? Who wins the Super Bowl? Ryan, I'm going to have to say that the Ravens are going to win the AFC Championship. I think the Chiefs absolutely could, and Patrick Mahomes is a different animal in the postseason. Everybody thinks his brother is a fucking loser. Everybody thinks his wife is nails on a chalkboard. You can't deny Patrick Mahomes is a fucking winner, though. Even though sometimes he's kind of whiny and he fucking freaking out over an offensive offsides. The dude proved to me last season's playoffs that he is a fucking winner who you have to respect. So you can't count him out. That said, I would bet the Ravens if I had to bet one. I have a creeping feeling that the Lions are going to win the NFC Championship. It just feels like the Niners might have lost some confidence after that poor showing to Green Bay. Brock Purdy almost threw some picks, certainly was sloppy with the ball, albeit very clutch on the final drive. And the Lions just seem red hot. It just seems like they're picking up steam like an American-made GMC truck right now, barreling down the highway at 80 or so miles per hour. And anything they hit is going to get fucking smashed. After beating the Lions beating the Rams and beating the replacements, Jared Goff's replacement, Matt Stafford, after kicking Tampa Bay's ass, even though it didn't show too much on the scoreboard, but it felt like they were thoroughly in control of that game. It just feels like Goff is going to be way more confident than Brock Purdy. Feels like the coaching staff called a much better game than Kyle Shanahan did for the 49ers. I'm talking about the Lions coaching staff. They've got way less to lose. The Niners, everybody was looking at them like they were the 07 Patriots this year in terms of how good their roster is. And it just feels like if the Niners were to lose, it would be devastating for their franchise. This is the year they have to win, which when you have that kind of pressure on you, ironically, it always makes it tougher to perform. The Lions, this is all house money at this point. They walked into the casino. The pit boss or the VIP host handed them $100,000 worth of chips. And they're at the roulette table now, sipping back a cocktail. So I got the Lions. I got Lions-Ravens Super Bowl. We'll see how that ages. Isaac Newton going to get wrecked. Yeah, he's going to fucking lick my ass. Trudeau is a piece. Yeah, dude. Fuck Trudeau, man. He's a dictator. Molly O'Shea. Yeah, that's a fucking... Molly is a good Irish word. Michael is saying, I would say hate is a strong word for us to use for living in Scotland. It's hard to explain, but the place just feels dull and everything looks gray. The Highlands are stunning, but the central area has all 1 out of 2. Oh, here's post. That was post 1 out of 2. Michael, I like what you're doing. Wow. Michael, you definitely have a bright career future for you in the United States. He knows how to number his fucking posts. I've never seen that done before in the Danny Mullen Patreon stream. The central area has been industrialized. Life just moves slow and feels like the same day over and over. Granted, places will probably be the same of regardless where you live, but it's pretty gloomy. Michael, yeah, that actually that's a thing. Everybody thinks the grass is greener in this city or doing this job, and the same monotony will tend to settle in whatever place you're living or whatever career you have. But there's a reason everybody tries to get to America, and I have a pretty easy time believing that you would enjoy living in Chicago or Austin, Texas, or Los Angeles, California more than like to live in Scotland. I'm sure there's just a lot more. You seem like a very bright guy. People out here, especially in a place like LA, are very motivated and they work very hard. And a lot of them are very, very talented. This place tends to attract the best in any kind of industry, and iron sharpens iron. You will have to up your game by proximity if you live in a place like this. And I do think it's probably pretty easy. I've never been to Scotland, but I'm born and raised in Sacramento. And the life move for somebody born and raised in Sacramento is to buy a $150,000 house 1 mile from where they went to high school, impregnate a girl who was kind of cute our freshman year of high school, but is since given over to obesity, knock her up, raise a couple kids, become an alcoholic, cheer for the San Francisco 49ers, and go to a pumpkin patch in October. That's basically your life when you live in Sacramento, California, and I have a feeling that things are similar up in Scotland. So yeah, man, I would encourage you to look into moving. IPAC is coming to Scotland in July, though, so don't move until August. Alex, why did you stop drinking? Well, I'm on probation right now, Alex, but I didn't stop drinking. If I were legally able to drink right now, I would occasionally do it. Last year, I probably got drunk 7 times or something like that. So it's not like I never drink. It's just I don't like being hungover. I don't like staying up late. I like being good at my job and I like feeling good and I like doing jujitsu. So I like to be physically healthy. Physical health leads to mental health. Life is hard enough with 8 hours of sleep and a perfect diet. You're only making things more difficult when you eat like shit and when you are knocking back 4 drinks before bed. It only makes life more difficult. I'm into my life being awesome, which means I occasionally dabble in alcohol. If I am meeting up with some friends and it's a special occasion and I've cleared my calendar and I don't have work that's being neglected, I will drink sometimes. Like last year, there were a couple of guys' trips I went on. We did one up in San Francisco where we filmed a couple of videos and then I met up with some buddies from college and we got hammered. I'm not opposed to drinking. I just think you should watch your drinking. Rule of thumb, I think drinking is for losers. And I say this as a guy who has a rich history of drinking in videos in college when I was in my 20s. So I'm not judging anybody, but drinking was definitely at odds with my ability to be productive. I mean, it's fucking poison. Once you start to get your life together, I think you can reinstitute a drinking schedule, but you just need to be responsible about it. Michael wants to know from Jinx if the Scottish accent would be admired by females. Well, Jinx is, as she's going to tell you, Jinx's English is shit. But Angelique will blow you. She lives in New York. Michael was saying, just feel like staying where I am in the same job will bring a lot of questions up later in life as to what could have been versus if I just moved and went for it. Totally feel you, Michael. And I am grateful for that every day, that I was born in the same country and 6 hours away from one of the most desirable cities in the world. 2 hours away from another city that's high on that list, San Francisco. I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed. And yeah, it was great that I could just pack up my car and drive 6 hours south and be in Los Angeles. So I say go for it, man. Michael, I think you owe it to yourself, dude, to move out here. Nick, Danny, do any of the people you train with or go to classes with, I think he probably means jujitsu, know who you are or have they found out? Yeah, Nick, a couple of our guys from my gym have come to stand up shows and had a great time. One of the guys who's a really tough brown belt at our gym, like, loves Rat Dick Ralph and Big Che, and is always like coming in like, dude, Big Che was fucking on another level this podcast. So yeah, a lot of the guys at my gym are, so there were a couple of guys that I was talking to, and one, it's, you know how it is when you all wear a kimono, which is a uniform. So it's hard to gauge what somebody's politics are, which you can kind of discern from how somebody dresses. You can kind of get if they're wearing Oakleys and a backwards NorCal hat, they're probably conservative. If they are wearing tortoiseshell glasses and like a fucking, I don't know, a flannel, and they're wearing a pair of leather shoes and tight fitting jeans and they have a messenger bag, they fucking voted for Biden. It's hard to tell in a jujitsu gym, but me and a couple of the other top purple and brown belts were talking about comedy. And one of the guys in the gym, he's like a black guy too. So you always wonder, like, I don't know what it is. I guess maybe because I went on the No Jumper show and the guys called me out for like my quote unquote racist past because of like the Compton video and stuff. So you always wonder, like, would a black guy who's like really in the spirit of BLM and shit, will he hate me? But he says that his favorite all time show was Opie and Anthony, and he loves Greg Giraldo. And I'm just like, give me a fucking hug, dude. And a couple of the other guys that I train with all said they love Opie and Anthony, which is, that's shorthand for like, okay, we're all fucking degenerate dirtbags and we can say anything we want on the mat with each other now. That was a big moment in my gym camaraderie. That was why Christianity and religion in general is important, because it gives everybody the same story and the same set of beliefs, and therefore they can unite and team up against this external enemy. Liking Opie and Anthony is like, all right, we all have the same set of beliefs, which is that anything goes when it comes to comedy. Nate F is breaking down Goodfellas as boring as hell. The whole movie is an ethnic man commits a crime and Gimme Shelter place. I kind of agree, dude. The thing is though, Scorsese did Casino, right? I love Casino. So that's another video for, or another movie that Scorsese did that I've got to give some flowers to. Love Casino, but I agree Goodfellas just felt like a more boring Casino, which is probably not what most people would say, because I know Goodfellas is like the anointed one. I want to see Danny in a Bigfoot video. I went back and rewatched that Nelk Bigfoot video. It was very good. Still alive? Yeah, guys, I'm about ready to jump out the door. I'm about ready to jump out the door, guys. They're all lucky Joe Burrow wasn't playing. Isaiah trained with Jared Goff. His dad coached him all the way up to Berkeley. It's cool to see him doing well. Yeah, he's the man, dude. Jared Goff is killing it. He's got a hot fucking wife, too. Is it a trap if a girl you just met says she's on birth control? I feel like that could be a lure into child support. Sort of like I was talking about guessing a guy's political affiliation based on how he dresses. You can deduce some things about how a girl dresses and what kind of girl she is that will give you more confidence in having sex with her without a condom. I did a video on this once that I think I've since privated, and the gist of it was basically the more educated and the more Jewish or Asian a girl was, the more you could raw dog her. So pretty much any girl in an Ivy League school who's Jewish or Asian, you can light the rubber on fire. But the opposite of that, any girl who's really Christian or comes from an ethnicity associated with Christianity and really undereducated. So think like a Mexican hairstylist, dude, fucking put an oven mitt over your dick. That's a pretty good policy for raw dog and chicks. But love you guys. I had a great live. I had a great time. I don't know if anybody else did. I got a skedat, as I said earlier. Love you guys. Glad you guys liked the video. It seemed like you did. We got a bunch of great shit coming for you next week and on Patreon this week. I'll talk to you guys live next Tuesday. I'm out.